Today in our final touch, it's not a bird, it's not a plane, and it's not Superman either.
Rather, it was a pair of trail of flames. The LAPD issued a statement on Twitter telling the public, quote, "It's not an alien invasion." And the supermoon?
So cool.
Spectacular. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, Mayor Paul Soglin says things are changing for the troubled apartment building on Madison's west side. We will explain how.
Former Sacred Feather building is getting a lot of attention after it was painted black.
And we are live from San Jose as the Badgers prepare for the first round of the NCAA tournament tomorrow against the Oregon Ducks.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3. City of Madison officials are praising efforts at a Housing First complex on Madison's far west side, saying they are addressing concerns of crime and disturbances in the area.
Tree Lane Apartments is designed for formerly homeless families, but heightened police calls for service in the neighborhood after it opened in June prompted a community response. Our Madeline O'Neill is live at the City County building, where a meeting at the mayor's office about this just wrapped up. Maddie?
Susan and Eric, we've heard a lot of concern when it comes to the Tree Lane project. Instead of that today, we heard more hope at today's discussion with city officials in the mayor's office and those involved with the project. The mayor says the project's intentions were always in the right place, but the necessary resources weren't always there. But now with a team effort, including city officials, police, and the property owner, police calls for surface have gone down from their peak at about 40 to 50 in winter months to about a dozen a month recently. Mayor Paul Soglin says upping funding for resources like additional security is paying off.
This is very challenging work. It's very stressful and difficult work. And I might point out that when things work out nicely and a family's life improves and the kids start doing well in school, it's also very rewarding.
The Road Home, a Dane County nonprofit, now has case managers and peer support staff working with families and children at Tree Lane, where more than 100 children live. The mayor stressed the importance of connecting those kids with support, things like summer camp in the community. He also noticed it's really a select few in the complex that have been causing these issues. 2 households have been evicted, but for the most part, most people pay rent and are good tenants. Overall, city officials are really hopeful these positive changes will continue.
Downtown, Maddie, thanks.
A Dane County judge has issued a temporary injunction blocking the laws passed by Republicans during December's lame duck legislative session. Those laws limited the powers of incoming Democrats, Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul. Judge Richard Neese found the state constitution doesn't allow for such sessions. Republicans called it disappointing but not surprising and promised to appeal.
The judge made it so clear that the constitutional language is something that can't be just dismissed by legislators or by the governor. So we believe we have some opportunities, and we'll take them as we see fit.
And within hours of that ruling, the governor ordered the attorney general to pull Wisconsin out of the federal lawsuit challenging the Affordable Care Act, something both had promised during the campaign. The laws passed in December had prohibited the governor from withdrawing the state from any legal action without legislative approval.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Meteorologist Dana Fulton is on the weather patio. Dana?
It is sunny outside right now. It really doesn't feel too bad. It's just a little windy. We've had a few wind gusts roll on through in the upper teens as far as those wind speeds go for us. But otherwise, really a decent evening. Our Doppler track is quiet. I know last night we did see a few little sprinkles and even some flurries, but that's not in the forecast for your Thursday night. Right now it is 50 degrees in Madison. Not much of a wind chill to factor in, of course. We have all that sun. That breeze coming from the west, sustained wind at about 10 miles per hour. 50 in Madison, 52 in Janesville, 49 right now in Monroe and in Platteville. Should be a nice evening for us compared to this time yesterday. There's quite a jump at our temperatures, especially for the western edge of the state. About a 9-degree climb for us in Mineral Point in the last 24 hours. Again, those wind speeds a little windy right now, about 20 miles per hour in Mineral Point, and again 10 for us in Madison, still coming from the west. Over the next few hours, our temperatures are actually going to steadily fall, but stay pretty decent through the evening, about 48 by 6 o'clock and then closer to 40 by 10. Overnight lows will fall near freezing, and we're in for another sunny, pleasant day as we head to your Friday. Saturday's not too bad, but we are keeping an eye on our next opportunity for some rain. We'll come in before we wrap up the weekend. We'll take a closer look at that timing in just a few minutes.
Dana, thank you. Janesville police arrested 3 men in a targeted human trafficking investigation. David Hunley and Paul Rohde, both of Janesville, and Keith Dabbs of Delavan were arrested and face misdemeanor charges. Authorities arrested the 3 men on suspicion of pandering. All 3 are being held at the Rock County Jail.
A man accused of killing another man outside of the Ho Chunk Casino is headed to trial. Robert Pulvermacher was arrested in January for first-degree intentional homicide in the killing of 88-year-old Harold Johnson of Portage. Pulvermacher waived his preliminary hearing in Sauk County Court. He stood mute, and the court entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. He's scheduled to be back in court April 4th.
Edgerton High School students were searched as they entered school today. The school superintendent says the extra security was in place after a bomb threat was discovered on a bathroom wall in the high school. School administrators and the Edgerton Police Department secured the building last night. Damage from flooding in March for 16 counties in Wisconsin is estimated at more than $1.6 million. The State Emergency Operations Center says Adams County had the most damage, $325,000. Columbia County had $196,000 in estimated damages. Several rivers across Wisconsin, including the Crawfish and the Rock in south central Wisconsin, will remain at moderate flood stage through next week. Several roads are still closed in Dane and Dodge counties. According to a release, Governor Tony Evers issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency last week. Meanwhile, the annual Governor's Conference on Emergency Management and Homeland Security is taking place in Wisconsin Dells. Governor Evers joined over 400 representatives from emergency management, fire, law enforcement, and other first responder agencies to discuss issues facing Wisconsin, including flooding, snowstorms, and explosions.
Many people walking along State Street are stopping and staring at the former Sacred Feather building.
That's because on Tuesday it was painted black without the city's permission by the person who is renting that building. Jamie Perez joins us now with details about how it happened and where they go from here. Jamie?
Right. Well, jarring is the word that a lot of people use to describe what they're seeing. This building is what many people describe as historic. Although it's not technically in a historic district, a lot of people say they're heartbroken and can't believe what they're seeing. This is how the news broke. The owner of B-Side Records, just across the street from the building, noticed people painting it black. When the city building inspector saw what was happening, he learned they did not have permission to paint the building. As I mentioned before, but this is not a historic building, but it is in a section of town where any alterations to the appearance of buildings needs to go through city approval. The owner of B-Side Records says he's sad to have to look at what he says was one of the most beautiful buildings downtown be altered so dramatically in such a short amount of time.
It's a really sad situation. It's awful. I mean, the building is devalued. It just goes to show that permits and processes are very important. You know, with the city, it's got to be done.
The city and building inspector let the renters and owners of this building know that they have 2 weeks to remove the paint. If they can't, the Urban Design Commission will decide how to handle it going forward. But even if they are able to remove the paint, the city building inspector said it will never be the same and the paint may never fully come off. And I did run into the building owner while I was there, but she walked away without providing any comment.
A story we will continue to follow and see what happens. Jamie, thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. The state is suing a technology company for breach of contract after they claim the company was paid $14.3 million over 4 years and completed 7% of the project. This is an update to a story News 3 Now Investigates first told you about last year. The Department of Employee Trust Funds is suing Vitech Systems Incorporated, claiming they didn't properly complete work on a new benefit system for state employees. But late today, in a statement sent to News 3 Now by Vitek, they claim instead that the state wrongfully terminated the project last year after expanding the project too much. The company intends to get the case dismissed and seeks $14.3 million in damages from the state.
We are less than 2 weeks away now from spring elections.
Some big races on the ballot, including the race for Madison mayor. Our Keely Arthur sat down with the two vying for the spot, and Keely joins us now.
Well, two very different candidates wanting this job. Longtime Madison Mayor Paul Soglin has the name recognition. Challenger Satya Rhodes Conway trying to capture voters' want for change.
And there was bus service to Owl Creek.
Mayoral candidates Paul Soglin and Satya Rhodes Conway hitting the campaign hard after advancing in February's primary. Rhodes Conway trailed behind the veteran mayor by just a few hundred votes at the time.
I think the results really show a momentum for change here in Madison, and I'm excited about that.
Since then, Rhodes Conway has canvassed heavily on the west side, where she didn't see as much success. Soglin knocking on doors in the downtown and east side, where he needs to pick up support.
The voters in a general election are very different than the voters in a primary. And it's our belief that the increased turnout is going to be to my advantage.
Rhodes Conway, a former three-term city alder, now manages the mayor's innovation project at UW-Madison, working with mayors across the country to improve policy. She says this and her collaborative leadership style make her stand out over Soglin.
He's been mayor for 22 of the last 40 years. Yeah. And it's clear he loves the city and has served it well. But do we want status quo or do we want to move forward? And I think that's really the choice.
Soglin responding, saying he's not the status quo candidate, rather the improvement candidate. He says in the last 8 years as mayor, Madison has climbed to the top of lists of best cities in the U.S., pointing to improvements in housing and racial equity.
I'd like to continue with that work. This is not easy stuff. It doesn't come from just studying. It comes from actually having management skills, the ability to engage the private sector. And I'd really like 4 more years to embed and finish the job.
And coming up on News 3 Now at 5:30, we will talk to the candidates about how they feel on the topics of affordable housing and transportation.
Keely, thank you. The Badgers are back in the NCAA tournament where every game can be your last. After missing March Madness last year, the Badgers are hoping to stay a little longer this time.
We all hope so, right? 3 Badger seniors don't plan on coming back without a ticket to the Sweet 16. News 3 Now's Kevin Lewis joins us live from San Jose with a preview of tomorrow's big matchup with the Oregon Ducks. Kevin?
Hey, you never want the ride to come to an end, especially if you're a senior like Wisconsin forward Ethan Happ. Now, he redshirted in 2015 when the Badgers made their second consecutive Final Four run. And ever since then, he's turned himself into one of the best players to put on a Wisconsin uniform. And certainly he wants to end his career with a tournament run on his resume. Now, Happ told me before the season he made a list of goals coming into the year, and making it back to the tournament after missing last year was right at the top. Now, the pressure's off. They're back in the dance, and Happ says the team's approach has been relaxed as they try to take things one step at a time.
The mojo or the vibe that we have going on with the team is real loose, ready to play. It's been similar to my past couple experiences in the NCAA tournament. The biggest thing is just to treat it, like any other game, but with that, don't leave anything out on the court. Don't save yourself for the next possession or the next game, because obviously there isn't one.
Happ said after the first couple times up and down the court, it's just like any other game. All right, you just don't want it to be your last game, which it could be for the Badgers or the Ducks. They play tomorrow, approximately 3:30, maybe closer to 4 o'clock on TBS. Wisconsin, a 5 seed. The Oregon Ducks, a 12 seed in San Jose. A lot of people said, oh, you're really cold in here with the air conditioning on and the ice under the basketball floor. Just go outside because it's so hot in the low 60s, guys.
Nice.
Hashtag Madison life, right?
Yes, don't rub it in.
Yeah, he always does that.
Jay and I not complaining. Not complaining.
That sunshine looks pretty good, too.
It does.
They angled that with the palm trees behind him, too, just to rub it in. Kevin Lewis.
Enjoy it, Kevin.
Live
Have fun.
in San Jose, Kevin.
We'll do our best.
Governor Tony Evers, by the way, says Wisconsin will beat Duke to win the NCAA men's basketball championship. He's predicting Wisconsin, Duke, Texas Tech, and North Carolina will all reach the Final Four. And the Lieutenant Governor, Mandela Barnes, has picked Wisconsin, Marquette, Kansas, and Maryland to advance to the Final Four. Maryland beat Belmont, by the way, by just 2 points earlier today. Marquette down at the half. I mean, the lieutenant governor thinks Kansas will beat Maryland for the championship. Again, Wisconsin, Oregon, first round tomorrow, 3:30. That'll be over on TBS. And more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, the investigation into the Boeing 737 MAX crashes continues, while multiple agencies are asking for some answers.
The latest on gun law reforms that New Zealand is putting in place just days after the mosque attacks.
Strong gains on Wall Street. The Dow up 217 points today. NASDAQ closing with a 110-point jump. The S&P added about 31. We'll be right back. Investigators are making progress as they search for answers in the crash of an Ethiopian Airlines jetliner earlier this month.
Ethiopian investigators are beginning to examine the black boxes found in the wreckage of Ethiopian Air Flight 302. A team from the National Transportation Safety Board, the FAA, and Boeing is also on site. The list of U.S. agencies demanding answers from Boeing and the FAA is growing, including the FBI. 737 MAX planes remain grounded around the world. New Zealand has banned all military-style firearms less than a week after the deadliest shooting in its history. The decisive action comes in response to the attack on 2 mosques in Christchurch that killed 50 people. The Prime Minister said the new law will officially be in place by next month, but a sales ban is already in effect to prevent stockpiling. She also says the attacker bought his weapons legally with a standard license homes and enhanced their firepower with what she called a simple online purchase.
Time now to get a look at our First Alert weather. Dana Fulton joining us with our forecast. Dana?
Overall today, really not too bad. I actually spent my morning in Mazomanie with the third graders there, and we had an awesome time this morning talking about weather. These kids already understanding different climatological aspects of the country, also looking at different biomes. We talked about the difference between watches and warnings. It was a fantastic morning and a lot of really great questions coming out of that. Of course, if you're ever interested in setting up a weather visit with any of the meteorologists on the First Alert weather team, you can always just send us an email at weather@WISC-TV.com. Today we hit a high of 50 degrees, our overnight low at about 36. Overall, that sunshine sure was really nice outside this afternoon. Started the morning with a few clouds, but later in the day things turned out pretty good for us. Our average in the mid-40s, and of course we were above that. Now our Doppler track is calm right now. Last night we had a few sprinkles. We're not looking at anything moving in for us. In fact, that area of low pressure now well off to the east, at the edge of Ohio. We're looking at a clear sky for tonight. This cold front to the north is going to swing south though, so we are expecting our temperatures to be a little cooler in the afternoon tomorrow, but the cold front's not going to bring any moisture into the area, just some slightly cooler temperatures for our Friday afternoon. Overall, we're expecting a partly cloudy night. By tomorrow morning, our temperatures will fall close to freezing. We'll be in the low 30s for our overnight lows. In the afternoon, we'll be in the mid 40s, so just a degree or two cooler. Mostly sunny for us for our Friday. By Saturday morning, temperatures fall yet again, this time into the middle 20s. It is going to be a little colder outside early in the day on Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon, temps climb right back up towards 50. Expecting really a similar afternoon to what we had today, with sunshine included with that. Now, our next chance for some rain is going to steadily march in for Sunday. By Saturday night, our skies become mostly cloudy, and then throughout the day on Sunday, we have the chance for some light rainfall. It'll linger into early Monday morning. We may see a little mixing north of Madison, but not really expecting any accumulation, as the ground will be pretty warm at that point. And then by Monday morning, we have a clearing sky, and it'll be mostly sunny for Monday afternoon. Again, our overnight lows falling close to freezing. It is going to be a little cool early in the day on Friday, but a partly cloudy sky will be over us. And then in the afternoon, planning on a mostly sunny sky, really seasonal. We're expecting those temperatures to be right at average in the mid 40s. Our breeze will be coming from the north about 8 to 15 miles per hour. So it will be a little breezy in the afternoon, similar though to what we're experiencing outside right now. So mid 40s for Friday, sunshine still on Saturday with temperatures back up towards 50. That chance of rain on Sunday will linger into early Monday morning, but otherwise Monday is going to be mostly sunny. We're looking at temperatures a little cooler to start off the week, and then we are going to steadily climb on up. By the middle of the week, we're back in the 50s, and we have another round of rain coming in for the end of next week. But it's nice to have a nice stretch of a few sunny days in between those rain opportunities for us. Do want to take a look at what's going on the roads right now with the First Alert traffic update. Got some good news for areas outside of the Beltline. Not so good news around the Beltline. Now it's a little backed up on both the east and westbound side. We're looking right now at our traffic cam located at the Beltline right at Seminole Highway. We've got brake lights on both sides. It does look like westbound has a little smoother drive than the eastbound side. Eastbound, we've had reports of a few accidents near some exit ramps. Right now, those accidents I've seen have been cleared, but we have significant delays with the speeds there, as you can see, stretching all the way from Gammon Road up close to 51. Again, that's eastbound on the Beltline. If you're traveling northbound from Verona to the Beltline, will take you just about 6 minutes. Oregon to the Beltline, 7 minutes, and 4 minutes from Springfield to University Avenue. And then from Janesville to the Beltline, it'll be about a 27-minute drive. Sauk City to Middleton, 17 minutes. And then from Sun Prairie to downtown, about an 18-minute commute for this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, thank you, Dana.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, ratings are in for the safest pickup trucks. We'll have the latest report card when we come back. Crash test ratings for nearly a dozen pickup trucks show there is plenty of room for improvement.
A popular Ford model did well, but a Toyota truck was the worst performer in the group. Hillary Lane has the latest safety report card.
This is what happens if a Toyota Tundra clips a tree or another car.
The big problem with the Toyota Tundra is that the occupant compartment falls apart in this test.
Researcher David Zuby says out of 11 pickups tested by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the Tundra showed the worst performance in a passenger side small overlap crash. That's an accident involving the front right corner of the vehicle.
Small overlap crashes, we estimate, account for about 1/4 of the serious injuries and deaths that come from frontal crashes altogether. The typical thing is that the front corner of the bumper gets pushed back into the wheel then gets pushed back into the front of the occupant compartment.
Automakers have made improvements on the driver's side, but on the passenger side, more than half of the 2019 models got marginal or poor ratings.
The trucks with the best passenger side ratings are the Ford F-150, the Ram 1500, and the Nissan Titan. The only truck to score a top safety pick was the Honda Ridgeline.
The Honda Ridgeline is the only pickup truck among those that we've tested so far that's got good rated headlights. So it's really the only one that we would recommend people drive at night.
The IIHS hopes its ratings will encourage automakers to make design changes that offer better protection to the people who use their trucks. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
And stay with us for another Check Your Forecast in just a moment.
Here's a look at some of the stories we are working on tonight. Why was a safety feature that might have prevented at least one crash optional? The latest on the Boeing investigation. The head of the Marines says deployments on the southern border are hurting combat readiness. And our 39th president is about to set a new record. It's all tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And Dana's here with a final check of the weather.
So we're expecting another sunny day tomorrow for your Friday. Temperatures to start off today, they'll be a little cold. We'll drop close to freezing early in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we will be in the middle 40s. Saturday, also mostly sunny. We'll be back close to 50 for our afternoon highs, and then our next chance for some rain is going to come in on Sunday. Now, those shower chances all the afternoon and overnight. And then next week, we get a break in the showers. Always nice to get a little break there before another round comes through for the end of the week. So a little bit of sun, then a little bit of rain. That's kind of the ideal breakup for us.
All right, stay tuned. We're not going anywhere. Charlotte's going to join me for News 3 Now at 6, 5:30 edition. Stand by. A road construction project plagued with crashes last year is set to start up again. The changes coming to the interstate in Rock County.
And the city has some concerns after an iconic building on State Street gets a darker makeover.
And we sit down with the candidates running for mayor of Madison. They're sharing their thoughts on affordable housing. Next at 6.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for staying with News 3. Construction is on the way for a major project in our viewing area that could bring closures, delays, and diversions for drivers.
This is the same area of I-3990 where we saw multiple crashes last year. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the details of what's to happen this spring. Adam?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, the I-3990 expansion project is already a couple of years in.